So we are doing 369 days of global peace meditation to save animals and to encourage everyone to go vegetarian, my dear friends. It is a project started with intention to create happy and peaceful world where all animals are respected and treated with kindness and compassion. So today is Eid Mubarak Bakrid. So let's all send this love and light energies to every being, my dear friends. So it is very important for everyone to become vegetarian. So let's all join our hands together and contribute our energies to this project. So as part of this as part of this 369 days of global peace meditation, we have weekend wisdom sharing, my dear friends. This weekend we have Anirudha Miryala. She's from USA. She's meditating since 15 years, my dear friends. She's expert in yoga nidra and she's expert in spiritual parenting. She did teacher training and advanced training in Amrita Yoga Institute in Florida, USA. And she did hotel management and graduated in BCom. And she's recognized as Anu's Sisters in Beauty Industries. She has, yes, my dear friends, she does group meditation sessions, Karma Vipaka Dhyanam, that is Karma resolving meditations every day in USA. And especially she's expert in spiritual parenting. She has raised her kids with wonderful wisdom, knowledge, mindfulness, awareness, teaching them the right values. And she's encouraging everyone to become meditators, and she's educating every parent how to raise their kids mindfully, my dear friends. We are so fortunate to have Anirudha Madam here. So she'll be sharing about the importance of vegetarian diet for kids, and also so many tips about spiritual parenting. You can ask any questions to her regarding your kids and teenagers. So welcome you, Anirudha Garu.
Thank you, Andy. So today's session is going to be on the kids, how to feed the kids with love and vegetarian, not to have the himsa of the animals. So before I start this session, my namaskarams to Atma Pranamams to Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji Gariki, Swarnamala Patriji Gariki, Mamshi Sar Gariki, and Sri Lakshmi Gariki, and also all the people who are listening to this and encouraging me to take these sessions again and again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are all interconnected with each other now, with our Purnatma. So whatever I say, they all go into your inner means your inner conscious. Without any effort, you can do these things automatically. And do not judge yourself, and also do not bring the mother guilt. 99% of the times, we do mistakes by bringing the mother guilt. Oh, if I don't give this, he's going to cry, or he's going to be upset. He might not love me. He might not accept me as a mother. These are the major things I have been experienced in my life in the beginning. And then very quickly, I realized that, of course, the meditation helped me to realize that that's not true. These are the, pure souls. Whatever you give them, that's all they know. They don't know any better than that. So what you create with them, that is their life. That would be their life in this lifetime. I know they have even past lives. There are lots, I agree with. But when they are with you in this life, they will continue whatever you give them as a mother. Even the love, even the food, even the environment in the house. If you really see the kids who did like some of the violences, if you go back and see in their life, they didn't have love. They didn't have proper parenting. They always continuously, they saw violence in the house, fighting in the house, drugs, or the alcohol, or the meat eating all the time. So these are the indirect, sources for that violence. We immediately say, oh, this kid did this shooting, or this kid did this, how bad he is, who created him as like that. So that is the environment created him. So we have to be very conscious what environment we create in our house to make a kid grow up in a right way, right? So what we need to do for that? So since the childhood, since the pregnancy, I can say that, because not every soul enters into the pregnancy, into the womb, but the soul is watching you constantly, the soul who is going to come into your life, because the soul wants to make sure they get why they are taking that birth, because one human birth is not easy to get the body, very, very difficult to get the body, because there are so many souls out there who wanted to have the human birth, but they're not getting the chance. So who got the body, sometimes they watch you totally, is it worth coming, because they don't want to waste their life coming in a wrong family, because if you feed them wrong, everything goes wrong, right? So what happens is, that's why when you're pregnant, every single moment of your whatever you're doing, that atma, that kid is, that maybe baby is watching you. They are first in a soul level, right? So as a soul, they watch you, and they also give you a lot of tests. Is it right for me to come in this family or not? So if you pass in that test, then the kid decides to enter into the body. Some of the souls, they enter after the birth happened, after the delivery, they enter into the body. Some of them, they enter in the 6th month or 5th month in the tummy, because they want to experience what it is delivery, what it is in the womb. It is very dark, it is very difficult to be in the womb, but they wanted to experience it, they want to learn, they want to be, see how it is. So some souls come that way, some souls are like, already they experienced, so they decide to come after the delivery. That's why some kids, they cry little later, not immediately after the birth. So that was the reason, because the soul came after. So once the soul comes into that body, they do remember first 3 years of their past. That's why they laugh in the sleep, and they smile in the sleep, because they remember of their past lives. Some one point, if they remember, that could be a stressful situation what they remembered, so they cry. If it is a happy situation, then they laugh. If it is a funny stuff, they laugh. So that's the reason you see very little kid, you see them as they are smiling and they're laughing, then you're like, wow, I mean, they're happy most of the time, they're smiling. Sometimes they'll be crying, that little baby. So that baby, when you give milk, or when the milk doesn't come properly, or if you're giving bottle feeding, whatever you're doing, we get guilty as a mother. Oh my God, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to, the kid is crying, I'm not able to, the balanam rodanam balan. Let the baby cry, it's okay to cry, but give that baby the most mom's love, affection, and you cuddle them, means you hug them, keep them with you as much as you can. Lot of times they say, keep the baby, like make the baby sleep on a separate bed, right? Separate room. They do that in America when the baby is very, very young, in months baby. They go and feed them and put them. But the baby is not getting that love and affection from the mom and dad. So I mean, keeping them right next to them, sometimes they say it's too dangerous. Baby can't breathe properly. If we go too close to them, or the pillow goes, these big pillows, these are the one-at-one. Very rarely could happen. That was one of the reasons they say. But baby definitely needs our hug, our love. So even feeding the baby, the mom feeds the baby with the hand. That's like such a huge energy passing through the food to the baby. So let do all those if you can. If you're not working, if you're home, otherwise take a break those 3 years. I did work less those years, but I wish someone told me to do that whom I trust. So I didn't do that completely. But after that, nature automatically gave me a break. And there are 2.5 years when I went to this meditation Automatically, I had almost 10, 12 years of break from the work, and I could able to do a lot more to the kids. So the universe did it, means I think that's the part of my kids' plan, because they are higher souls. So they needed a mom who has to raise, who is meditating, then they can get the proper way of, how do I say, like proper nourishment and proper love they can get. They can be raised in a right way. So that was their soul plan. I went into meditation when they are 2-year-old. So more, I mean, some things, sometimes they say, oh, I had a girl or a boy, since my child is born, I became rich. I got all this money since the child, that child came, my second child came, or first child came, because that's their soul plan. Sometimes our lifestyle changes once that kid is born. So because they needed a certain environment to grow, they needed a maybe a matured mom or a meditated mom to raise, because they need to keep their conscious. If you're not conscious, what happens is the baby's consciousness also goes lower, even though that baby had so many janmas, higher level janmas, and then that baby is a guru level, his conscious goes low. If we are not up to the point, our conscious is not enough, means that level. So naturally our love always keeps them the same, but our energy puts them down, because moms who are not aware how to raise a kid, generally they shout at them, when they get mad or when they get stressed out, they say, yell at them and say loud voice, like you should eat, whatever, little things. So all those affects them and makes their conscious, even their chakras started closing, because when the baby is born, their chakras are totally open. So if we continue to raise them with the same love, same level, automatically the kids are going to be higher energy, chakras opened. There will be open even when they are grown. So it is so important not hitting the kid and not yelling at them, not shouting at them. And when it comes to the food, so I know today's topic is that, so we are coming there. And if you wanted the protein, you can just make the dal boiled, dal and little, maybe you can put rice like a khichdi, and that you can give with the salt. Little salt, don't put much salt. Even in the vegetables, I don't put neither salt, neither ghee, neither nothing, because let them experience the taste of the original, what the carrot is. Why we need to put all these masalas, all these peppers, all that, and we ruin the real taste of the carrot. So always you allow them to taste whatever that vegetable is as it is naturally. And do not boil too much too. If you're putting water, do not throw the water. Means don't put too much water. Put enough water where it can boil, and water has to completely come into the vegetables. If there is some more water, then feed that water to the baby. Even, you can strain that water and feed, or you can drink it, because that water will have all the vitamins. So if you're giving vegetables, once you strain the water, that vegetables has no use, means all the vitamins are gone. So put little vegetables or steam them. You can even put it in the cooker underneath the water, and then mesh on the top. So with that steam, they can boil. That is the best way to do. Steaming is the best way to do, or oven. The third one, if you're putting directly, put only little water and observe all the time and mix them. Make sure that water is totally evaporated. And then give this, you don't need to put salt, nothing, because the vegetables will have automatically everything in them. Salt, it will have enough sugar, enough salt, everything in itself. So some of the moms I see, they put sugar for everything. If they give dosha, they put sugar. If they give anything, because they think with the sugar, they would eat more, or they would eat. No, we are literally ruining their health by doing that. So if the baby is not willing to eat more than certain amount, do not push them, because we don't need to eat more to survive. We are here to survive. And the less food they eat, the more their chakras are open, the more they will have lighter body. So do not force them to eat. That is the number one thing. And do not give videos when they are eating. Let them cherish and enjoy each bite of that. Let them enjoy. So tell them, oh, let them know that what you did to make one dish. When my kids are 3-year-old, what I did is, if sometimes the kids say, I don't want to eat this breakfast. If you make a pancake, for example, they say, I don't want the pancake today, I want the upma, or something else they say. So instead of saying, I'm not going to make you have to eat what is in there, instead of that, what you do is you let them experience one dish, how much time it takes to cook that one dish. What you do is you take them to the supermarket. If you're making a potato or a carrot, you involve them from the scratch, means from the buying in the store, those vegetables. So when you buy those vegetables in the store, what happens, you're letting them know how much time it takes and what are the things, and buy the onion, buy whatever it required, garlic, and then come home and start doing those vegetables, right? And then cutting the vegetables, boiling that, cutting it, and making a curry. How much time it takes? Almost 2 hours or more than that to make one curry. So let them experience that. The minute they experience that, they're like, oh, wow, mom, you put so much of effort to do this one curry. Then they start relishing that curry. Then they start giving value to that curry. Anything you do the same thing, whether it's finances, whether it is, whether it is a mom's work or a dish, everything you let them experience, then their way of talking changes. A lot of people say that, my kid does not have a value of money. My kid does not have a value of the food. He wants me to make another one. Because you're making another one, they will make you do another dish. If they say, I don't want to eat upma, then you're making dosha. So you are giving that opportunity to ask or demand whatever they want whenever you give them that, right? So instead of telling them, I'm not going to make you eat what is on the table, you just let them experience how much time it takes to make that one dosha or one upma. Then they realize how hard it is to do, right? So the next step, what you do is, first you experience them. And the second one, if they wanted non-vegetarian versus vegetarian, to release them from non-vegetarian, you need to keep the videos of these charter house, it's called, meaning they cut the meat in those places. Those videos are there in the Netflix, and also some of them in the YouTube. They filmed and kept it in the YouTube. So you can show these videos to the kids without telling them. Don't tell them, don't eat meat, don't eat this, don't do this, don't do that. The more you say do not, they are going to do those things. Keep that in mind. Anything you say do not, they are going to do that, especially the teenagers. That is the way of life. So you need to say to them, don't say anything, just show those videos. Keep that video when you're all family sitting together. Put that video, just simply. And then, don't comment anything when you're watching that video. I mean, you can feel sad, because those animals, they keep them in the slaughterhouses for 1 week without food, without water. And then they cut these animals after a week. Because if they don't give food and the water, what happens? They won't do, like poo, pee pee, all those they don't do, right? So they don't need to clean much. And also there is a cost for 1 week food. So these are the two reasons they do not give food nor water. So they only give the shelter, because they needed a week before to have these animals to be, their turn. So they bring a week before. Once their turn comes, but these animals knows that they're going to die in 1 week. These animals feel sad. These animals are roaring, shouting, and they're asking for help. You can feel in their voices. So show those videos. Though the minute they see those, especially if they are 3-4-year-old, they are going to take a promise, Mommy, I will never eat non-vegetarian. If they are little more grown, they needed not one video, they needed little more, several videos if they're 7-8 years old, but show them once a week those videos, because after a week again they tempt back to these non-vegetarian because they're used to eating since a childhood. If you don't give since a childhood, since a baby, you don't give at all, still you show these videos, because what happens when they go out with the friends or in the school, I know a lot of people who are totally vegetarian in the house, who could be Brahmins, Vaishyas, or like some other nature, but their birth is, they don't eat they are vegetarians in the house. So mom never gave the non-vegetarian, but they started eating in the school. So to avoid that, you have to show these videos at least once a week for some time, until they completely get that, wow, I am not going to eat non-vegetarian in my lifetime. This is wrong what they're doing. The animals are getting lot of violence. I don't want to participate in this. They will say that from their heart, from their soul, from their mind. The minute they say that, then you don't need to show those, but show them once every 3 months or 6 months, so that, not the same video. There are so many videos in the Netflix, in the YouTube, in the Lulu. There are so many places. There are so many, these videos are kept. Even the McDonald's, I mean, the people who are in the UK or US, they have a lot of issue with the kids. They do these jobs, like part-time jobs after their 12th grade, and they work in the McDonald's. And because that's the easiest job they can get. And then they eat there 3 times. So how do we avoid that, not to eat those 3 times in the fast food? Because they're working there, they eat there. You show the videos. There is a Netflix, there is one video. One guy was eating McDonald's, and then he became, in 3 months, he became increased 200 pounds, and he got sugar, he got blood pressure, he got everything, all the diseases, you name it. So that guy is a nutritionist. That guy took a risk of his own life to teach others what McDonald's food does. And also McDonald's food has a lot of chemicals in it. They mix so much of chemicals in it. You don't even, I mean, one chicken nugget actually fell under the chair in the car of my employee. His son was like maybe 1 year old or 1.5 year old, because Americans, they give even year-old kids all these nonsense food. So when that chicken nugget fell under the chair, after I think 6 or 7 years, the kid was like almost high school or middle school. So they found this chicken nugget when they deep cleaned the car. And that chicken nugget, even at that time, after 7 years, it is smelling so good and so tempting. She was saying, I felt like eating it. The smell was so good. So what you learn out of this? This means they are putting so much of chemicals in that where it won't get the fungus. Because the real meat is supposed to get spoiled within 24 hours if it is outside. But it is not happening. Why? Because of the chemicals. How much chemicals they add in that, you can imagine. And the second thing is, we need to show those videos about the fast food when they're very younger. When they're 4-year-old, 3-year-old, show them, put them in their subconscious level. Once you feed them in the subconscious level, whatever they learn first 5 years of their life, they would never forget, and they never stop doing those stuff. Even if they are abused, they would never forget. They will be in the tears rest of their life, thinking about that abuse. If they got love, then they give love, they share love to everyone, the whole world, because they are raised with the love. Whatever you put in that brain as a words, if you put in that brain as a words, you're not able to do this, you're not eligible to do that, you are not, you can't do this. Anything you put those kind of you can't words also stays back in the brain. And I have seen some of the parents, what they say is, they say no when they ask for something. For example, they ask for a phone. Mommy, I want a phone. Yeah, the whole class has it. Then immediately they say, oh, is this the age for you to have a phone? What are you talking about? And then they shout at them and say no to buying a phone. But what they do, their mother guilt and father guilt comes in. And then they, after a week or 3 days or 2 days, this kid is like, he's not very happy, he's upset because not because you're not giving, because you shouted them. You need to realize those things, what we are doing. When you shout at them versus when you talk about, I can give you an example of my child. He was, I think he was 5th grade. So in my middle child, I have 3 boys. So the middle child, I have one set of twins and a year and a half older, another boy. So 3 boys. So the middle one of the twin, older in the twin, said that, Mummy, my whole class has the phones. I just want to know, would you buy the phone for me? I immediately said, yes, I will buy a phone for you. I said, which one do you want? You want iPhone or Android, or, how much GB you want, how much space you want, how big you want, like you select what you want. We would go to store and buy. He said, really, Mummy, you'll buy a phone for me? Yeah, that's what you want. That's what I would do it. And then that's done. So now he imagined the phone. He has the phone in his hand in the imaginary, not really. Okay. So in the imaginary, he has the phone, he used the phone, and he's totally satisfied in his brain that he has the phone. He's not upset because I said yes. And then after 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I called him and I said, can you give me honest opinion? I have a question. He said, yes, I can. But you should not lie. You should be honest. He said, yes, because he's happy with me. Already I gave him what he wanted. I didn't give, but in his brain, I gave him what he wanted. So he's very honest and he's very happy with that. So he said, okay, Mummy, what you're going to give, what you wanted. So I said, okay, close your eyes. So he closed his eyes. Then slowly I told him, always, do it like with your own pace, like you take him in that trance of meditation, like give 2, 3, 1 minute time. And then I said, you have a 5-year-old child, you're a father of that child. Imagine you're a father of 5-year-old child. So that child is coming and asking you for a phone. Just imagine the benefits of that phone. After a minute, he opened his eyes and said, and then I asked him, would you buy? What are the benefits? He said, there are no benefits. That's going to ruin his life. He said exactly these 2 words. Then I said, would you buy for him as a father? He said, no way. I will not buy a phone for him. I said, okay. And then after 2 minutes, I didn't say immediately. I let him go again. Again, I called him. I said, do you want me to buy? I said in a very, very, very calm voice, very motherly voice, very loving voice. I asked him, do you want me to buy? Beta, do you want me to buy? He said, no, Mummy, you should not buy. I got it. He said, and then he left. So what I did here, what are the benefits by doing that? First of all, you did not create an illusion in his brain that you won't do it. If you said no immediately, then in his brain, my mom does not give me anything, right? My mom doesn't do anything for me. The first thing. The second thing is, my mom does not care, does not love. Because you said no to all these creations come in the brain, and those are the creation stays in your brain, in those little brains, and they live with those illusions the rest of their life. So here in his brain, I gave the cell phone, but he said no. So what is happening when he said no to the cell phone? You are allowing him to live his life and making his own decisions. So when he grow, he can be a CEO of the company, means he can make his own decisions. That is extremely important. So you didn't say no, you said yes to that, and you made him to say no, and then you allowed him to make his own decisions. So he will not ask anymore. He never asked me after that he wanted a phone. Even in the high school, when the school called and told us that they have to have the cell phone because, they were in the clubs and, they have been selected as a higher role to have everybody's, timing, attendance, everything they were managing. So they have to have the phone. So they have to text those groups, when to come, what to do, all that. So all the three boys, the school needed in the high school the cell phone. That's when we bought it. So before that, when they were going to these games, one kid, we gave this watch. That watch can only handle three numbers, I think. Three numbers. Those three numbers, they can only text those three. Mummy, come and pick me. I'm done with my games. So that is what we gave. That watch can only do 3 phone numbers, 3 or 4. They have to put it in there. That's it. Only those 4 numbers they can call and say that come and pick us or whatever that emergency thing. Or they can't even text. They can only call from that phone. So that is also very highly, I recommend. If your kids need a phone for emergency purpose or if they are in the games, nowadays you're getting these watch. This one is available last like 6, 7, 8 years because we have used past several years. So that watch can only take four calls, and then it can give you, they can call you and say, Mummy, I'm here. I'm done with my golf. Please come and pick me. So we can go and pick them. So any emergency, they can call from that phone. And that phone is not locked. Even cop can call if anything happens to the child. Anybody can call that phone. So from that watch. So it is amazingly great. And the second thing is when, like I said, when they ask anything, do not say no. First say yes. After that, you ask them to see the benefits of that. I'll tell you one more example of the Coke. In the middle school, I think he might be in the 7th grade. I think my older one, he asked me, can I drink Coke? I said, yeah, why not? How many you want to drink? Let me know. How many you want in the refrigerator? How many you want it outside? How many you want to drink before the school? How many you want to drink after the school? You want cold or warm, room temperature? Let me know so that I can buy and put them in the fridge outside and whatever. Let me know the quantity, how many you want in a week. He said, really, you will allow me to drink Coke? I said, why not? That's what you want. That's your body. That's your wish. I will do it whatever you want. Then he said, okay. And then he left. Same thing I did because I gave that illusion of giving to him. So he became so happy. And then now he's ready to do anything for me. Now I called him again and said, I want you to see the benefits of the Coke in the internet. And then you will know when to drink that after the school or before the school, or how much energy it gives you, what it does for your body, so that you can decide when to drink them. He loved that idea. He said, okay, Mommy. And then he went on the internet. He read all that, you all know what happens when we drink the Coke. He read all those. And then he started shouting, Mommy, Mommy. I said, what happened? What can I do for you? Then he said, chachina Coke taganu. That means I would never drink the Coke again in my life. I said, why? Why don't you drink? Then he said, because it has sugar, high level of sugar. They put so much of this, not even sugar. They put this corn syrup and that damages your kidneys, you're this, you're that. And then it falls suddenly and we feel suddenly sad. Suddenly we feel hyperactive. So all these are there, Mommy. I'm not going to drink this. I said, what do I do? All these Cokes, cold and the warm and the outside, inside and all this. He said, you never bought them. Don't buy them. I don't want you to buy them. I don't want to drink. I said, okay. So again, what did I do? I didn't say no. I gave him to take the decision of that. So if you needed anything, like in situations you have, you can ask me questions after my session. So I can give you idea how to ask them, how to manipulate them. You're not lying. At the same time, you're giving him opportunity to decide for his own life, for his own body. So once you create that in him, tomorrow when he goes to the friends, when there is a beer, when there is a cigarette, when there is a drugs, he makes his own decision. He might go and check in the online. If they say, nowadays, some of the drugs, especially these e-cigarettes, they're saying they're very safe, nothing will happen to you. You know what my kids did on that? They went and checked online and said, they came and told me, Mommy, they say this to make you drink, and they sell these in the school. And you know how much damage it does to you? And then they started explaining me. I didn't know at that time about these e-cigarettes. They don't smell. They look like USB. And the room, I asked them, how do we know if a kid is taking these cigarettes? Then they said the room smells like cucumber, orange, vegetables, or a fruit, because sometimes they have like a strawberry, all these different kinds of fruit and vegetables. So those the room smells like a vegetable or a fruit. That means they are taking these. So the mom should get alert, and she should act indirectly. How to avoid that instead of attacking them. Yes, never attack a kid that what they're doing is wrong. Do not tell them what they're doing is wrong. That is the totally no. Even the non-vegetarian, if they're eating outside so much of non-vegetarian, or they're pushing you to make in the house, don't say no to that. But explain them what the animals are going through, or put them videos are the best way. I don't want to say any word about what is wrong in the house, but I put the videos, indirectly I teach them, indirectly I send them articles to read, so that they themselves get the knowledge, and they themselves realize, and they themselves say, you know what, I don't want to eat the non-vegetarian, I'm doing all this. They ask you questions, what about the vegetables? If you cut the vegetables, you're also cutting them from the tree. They're also getting, pain. They asked me all these questions. So you should be ready to answer all these questions about vegetables, about fruits. When you cut from the plant, what happens, how the plant feels. You need to know all these details too for a child when you're saying no to something. So first you get knowledgeable. First you get to know what it is, and then you talk to the child what it is. And also, do not keep them hungry, too much hungry. Always constantly feed them fruits. How do you do that? Even I used to give them sprouts. First I thought they might not eat sprouts, these are sprouts, but for me, I have this instinct, my soul talk helped me, saying that, okay, leave it there. When they're doing homework or playing, they would eat. So what I do in the morning, especially on the weekends, I make these sprouts and leave it on the table with the peanuts and horse gram. Horse gram tastes so good, and they are so highly. It's more protein than a meat can give, because horse gets so big and so bulky. The horse gram horses eat horse gram, and they are so active. They run so well, and they are so huge, right? That means it has so much of protein. So that protein is higher than a meat. So making a sprouts is the best way with horse gram, or you have to grind the horse gram, make a powder, and give that as a water. Boil in the water, and then give that water with the lime and the honey. That tastes so good. You can either give that way, or you can make the sprouts. Sprouts is the easiest way. They can eat the whole thing, and they are softer and nice. But sprouts, you can even fry them a little lightly saute them you can do with the ghee, and give them. So I used to do the soaked peanuts and those together, but I used to slightly saute them and leave it on the table. But if they are moong dal, pesar pappu, like with the whole moong dal, with the skin, that one I used to give as it is. I never fried those. Even the peanuts, sometimes I leave it after soaked overnight. I leave it on the table, and they eat it while playing. They finish the whole bowl without a question. So whatever the healthy food you want to give them, just leave it when they are playing, especially the blueberries, berries, and the strawberries. Everything I wash and leave it in the bowl whenever they're doing homework or playing, whatever they're doing, something else, then I leave it there. I always feed them with the fruits before the dinner or before the lunch, because fruits has to be fed before the dinner or the lunch. Because what happens when you eat the main food, it already became little bit of digested, means it changed its what do you say, character of the food, right? It became, it became bad. So once you put in that bad thing, the fruits can never absorbed by the body. Means it can never, the vitamins and the minerals from the fruits cannot be taken, even antioxidants. That's why you have to eat the fruits empty stomach. So eat the fruits empty stomach, and then give the main food that way. And also make at home, keep a principle, even though they eat meat in the house, the kids and the husband, you make a principle that I'm only going to make vegetarian, and keep the dishes for me vegetarian. And then if your husband is making non-vegetarian and not listening to you, leave those dishes sideway, and then show your husband and the kids these videos. These videos help a lot. They make wonderful result. And also always, if you're making, for example, upma, today I made the generally I use this yava rava. That one is like a oatmeal. So I make that kind of a oatmeal upma. If I make a real upma also, because if they're used to, or somebody, if my in-laws are at home, they ask me for the real, the old rava. So what I put is, I put vegetables in that. I put lots of nuts in that, especially the chikudu, itulu, like those are called something. So peanuts soaked in the night, and the chana dal soaked in the night. All the dals you have to soak in the night, so that they release some, they have some kind of a poisonous on the top layer. So because for the bugs not to eat, they have like a natural protection. So you have to soak those dals and throw the water, and then use the dal soaked. That way all the vitamins comes on the top, minerals comes on the top. They also cook faster, and they have a sweet taste. If you eat peanuts, the soaked ones, oh my God, they're so tasty. So I use, even I use the moong dal, the cut with the skin. I soak and use it, even in upma and everything. If I make even the bol pelalu, we say, right, puff rice, those also I put everything. I put peanut, all these, even you can put sprouted horse gram in that. You can put all those to make one dish, like 50-50. You make more than the puffed rice, you use all these vegetables like carrot. Even I put birakaya. Birakaya also, I do not take out the whole skin, only the top, that nara, you say, right, the thin thread, only I remove that. I don't remove the skin. I cut and do that, use those. That is so tasty. Do not take out the skin. Skin is the fiber. Even the apple, a lot of people take out the skin and eat. Give them the kids when they are sitting, not doing anything. Cut an apple, leave it there. They will eat in 1 second. You'll see in 10 minutes, everything is gone. I put blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, everything. I put it on the table. Where they are gone like in 10 minutes, especially if the kids are, whatever the age they are, they would eat, they will finish them. So keep these habits more and more when they are very young, or even after grown. Even now, if kids are not into fruits, not into that, leave it on the table, they would eat it. Where they are sitting and doing their homework, they would finish them. Slowly. Don't think as a mother, oh, they're not going to eat this, they're not going to do this. The minute you think, that energy goes to them and they're not going to eat. So when you're making the food also, a lot of mothers, what they do is, oh, this is very healthy food, my kid is not going to eat. So you're already putting that intention in that. So kid is not going to eat, because that energy you're shifting, you're sending to that baby soul. So that baby is not going to eat. So when you're making that food, always make it like you are sending lot of God's energy in it, lot of lot of energy, like your love energy, God energy. You cook for the God, for Krishna, you cook it. How do you cook when you cook for a Krishna, your Lord or Jesus in you? How do you cook? You cook with lots of love, with lot of, good ingredients, right? So same thing, put lots of curry leaves, put lots of coriander. You can even put spinach. Today I made the upma. So I put the spinach, birakaya, I put peanuts, I put the moong dal with the skin, the cut one. And also the chana dal I put. What else I put? I put sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are excellent for they are anti-cancerous, and they have high protein, fiber. It has even calcium. It has everything, you name it. The sesame seeds also you have to soak at least 30 minutes. So at least we can do that. So use all those ingredients. You're making something, and that will make very, very tastier, and also that will make very healthy food. So if you make a vegetarian very, very tasty food, the kids would love and eat it. So do not forget the points I said. First, do not say no for anything, say yes, and also make the food what they want in vegetarian, and also always explain what ingredients you have. Maybe the best thing is if you talk to them in the night, you know what, I'm planning to make this food for you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, what kind of food do you want? So if you talk to these ingredients I have, sometimes they will tell you what to make. So if you make, once they tell you what to make, then they will eat better. If you involve them, even the cutting the vegetables or preparing, if you involve them, I've seen that since 8 months I started involving my kids. I used to put them on the counter in that bassinet. I used to explain them what I'm doing and all that. Sometimes they used to do little stuff, garlic pounding or something. They used to do little stuff. They used to involve, and they eat a lot more better, because is this the food I made? Is this, they think they made it. So they would eat much more better. So always do the food what you make with them. So that way, what happens, they would involve and do it, and they'll be happily eat that. So I always ask them to cut the vegetables, to help me in the kitchen. I never stay alone in the kitchen. My kids always are with me. At least one kid is with me. If the three, then they argue, they do that. So that's why I always keep one kid at a time. After 15-20 minutes, I ask the second kid to come and join, or the third kid after 20 minutes. So they will always help me. So they're used to that. So if you guys want to take let's do the question and answers. If you have, anybody has any questions, please raise your hand.
So thank you so much, Anirudha Garu, for wonderful wisdom sharing. Yes, what you said is true. True vegetarian diet is very, very important for kids. So yes, many parents are doing with ignorance. They are feeding their kids, like if they feed them with meat, they'll get a lot of protein. So always see, my dear friends, in last class also we discussed when great enlightened masters like Mahavatar Babaji or Mahatma Gandhi, Plato, or so many enlightened masters, when they are saying about vegetarianism, so then what is need to question about this protein or non-vegetarian diet, my dear friends? So we have to blindly follow, because all these great masters have experimented and they know the truth. So they are speaking the truth, my dear friends. So don't take any meat or no egg. So no egg at all. In PSSM, Patriji strictly recommends no meat, no egg. So no, sometimes yes, we can use oven, but yes, as it has a lot of radiations, we can use as madam said, like steaming and boiling. So wonderful knowledge, and she had a great experience. Let's see how she made her kids to take their own decisions. That is very important, my dear friends. So we have to educate our children to take decisions, they have to take decisions on their own. So yes, please be mindful. Don't say no, don't play this, don't do this, no video games, no means. So they will become anti to us, and they feel like my mother, she doesn't love me. So as beautifully madam has experimented in her life with her 3 kids. Now her kids are grown up and they are now teenagers. So now also this everyone will discuss about the values, and also her kids will tell her, mommy, you should not use this because it's not good. See how how wonderful they are, my dear friends. So if you have any questions on how to raise kids on or any food or parenting tips, you can ask madam. You can raise your hands or chat. Someone asked me directly, like my kid is using so lot of video games, how to tell him to not play video games?
Yeah, I expected this question. When they're playing video games, you need to explain. There is a video on the YouTube how the brain affects when they play, because what happens is when you're doing one video game, generally our mind works like The way mind works, it's 1,000 times, I can say maybe 10,000 times speeder the brain goes with the video games than a normal life. So when a teacher is teaching them as a normal voice, like, even my class, those kids can't hear because for their brain goes somewhere else, because they are used to that speed. So unless I'm creating a drama here, I'm doing two speed something, then they can learn from that game. Otherwise they can't. So that is what happening to their brain. So that's why a lot of these kids have all these attention deficit, all these trauma syndromes, this syndrome, they have like 100 names now because of the video games. So all the psychiatry also became, the specialty became very high wanted field now. It became difficult to get that field now. Before, anybody can get that field. Actually, they were going empty. So now it became number one, because everyone's brain is going to affect with that. Everybody need a psychiatrist if they play the games. So you do need to, when you explain, they don't get it. So there are videos on YouTube. When you're sitting as a family, put those videos and show them how it is affecting the brain. I'll give you one example of my child, what happened. So when they are playing this, my husband bought one day this, he said, oh, if you get these, if you win in this golf, I'm going to buy you a video game. He said that without asking me. That's no, but he did. So the kids won the golf game tournament. Then he bought that. He took them into the mall, bought that. I didn't even know anything about it. So I did not react to it. I'm supposed to react. Anybody, generally they react. Why did you buy? Without asking me, all these they say in the house. I didn't say anything. I let it pass. 2 days, 3 days. They're continuously on it. They're not coming even for lunch when I call them. Then I told my husband, you know what? I'm quitting a mother job. I'm not going to do anything mother job, what I'm supposed to do as a mother. I'm quitting that job. So you become a responsible to that. If that video game is in my house, I'm not going to do anything. So immediately what he did when they went to school, he packed the whole video game thing and gave it as a donation at his workplace. He took $1 from them. Then he told, oh, I sold that video game thing because, for $1, he said. Then my kids are like, how could you, they were upset. They were upset for 1 day, 2 days. By third day, they were normal kids. But what happened? I have a Shanti in the house. So why do you even keep that machine? Just throw it outside. I mean, give it to someone as a donor, as a donation in the goodwill, or give it in your office to somebody. If you don't want any other kid to get damaged, they will buy if you don't give. Put it in the garbage. But you have a right as a mother to take out that from your house. Why do you kept it? Because again, your mother guilt. Just like in the beginning of the class, I told you the mother guilt kills you. The mother guilt. What if kid is upset? What if kid doesn't eat? What if kid, I don't want to make my kid very upset. I don't want to make my kid, cry. Let him cry 1 day, 2 days. His brain gets even more sharper. Let him not eat. He will get more enlightened when not eating. But take that out and put it outside. You are the mother. You have every right to do that. Do not even say that you can only do 1 hour on the weekend, 2 hours in the weekend. No. Just take that out. He doesn't need to do that. And no phone during eating. Otherwise, don't give them food. You do with that love, dear. Don't do like a strict. You tell them, as a mother, I'm not giving you with a smile, with a beautiful smile, tell them, I'm not giving you the food if your phone is on the table, and you have to come and eat on the table, not anywhere, wherever you're sitting. I generally give fruit, that kind of stuff, wherever they're doing homework. Otherwise, they have to come and eat on the table. From the childhood, they know that. So you got the answer, I guess.
Yes, thank you so much. And one more question, ma'am. What is the best food that can be given to kids in the morning before going to school? Most people think milk and eggs are healthy and easy to prepare. So,
if you can give one banana and the soaked peanuts, you can even blend them together and give as a drink. If that is not what they would eat, then what you do is if you blend and give them, if you think they don't relish that, then saute the peanuts a little, but you have to soak them in the night. Do not use that water. Soak them in the night and saute lightly whatever they wanted. You can put little salt. Then little kids love that. Little salt with the banana. Banana and the peanuts are the best nourishment that can stay until 4 p.m. That nourishment. So give them.
Yes.
Even oatmeal with fruit, I mean, every day you can't give the same thing. Oatmeal with fruit is the best thing. You can put apple, banana in the oatmeal. You can make it with the milk. Milk also instead of the cow milk, because if it is in the US, they are using all these chemicals, injections to the cow, hormones they are giving. So use the organic milk only. Even the organic milk is not the real cow milk. That's a buffalo milk. So you can use, you get the coconut milk or almond milk or cashew milk in the stores, get that and use that. Otherwise, you can really want it even more organic. You need to soak the almonds and you can make milk out of that. You blend it and put some water, that becomes almond milk. You can even give the kids to that almond or the cashews also. You can do the same thing. Peanut also, you can same thing. You can also make the yogurt of these. So to give the kids, because milk is not at all advisable to give anymore. So every day you can change with the fruits, something or the other, like oatmeal, fruits you can change with the oatmeal, give peanuts and the banana, or what else you can do. These are all will give lot of nourishment. You don't need to worry about like protein every single meal. It does not automatically, each and every food, all the nuts will have automatically some kind of a protein. So you can add some nuts in the oatmeal, in the things. So also give them nuts openly. You can give like a snack to the school, some of the roasted nuts you roast with the ghee and give them. So those are all becomes nutritional protein to the kids, and they also make the brain more sharper, these nuts.
Yes, thank you so much, Anirudha Garu. So friends, any questions you can ask. So Anirudha Garu, she is also expert in Yoga Nidra. I think next class we can do proper Yoga Nidra, Anirudha Garu, because you can explain more in detail, and also, yes, we can have longer Yoga Nidra session.
Yeah, because in the Yoga Nidra also, you can, if you do to your own kids, you can make them vegetarians even through that also, because you are working with their soul and subconscious level. When you're working with the subconscious level, you can put what you want in that level, so they will behave that way. That is another easiest way of making kids not play games and not eat the food you wanted, bad food not to eat. Even outside, even vegetarians, sometimes they have like a bad chemical food they eat. So all those are very, very important to keep them away from it.
Yes. Thank you. And yes, Geeta Saravanan, you can unmute yourself.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm Geeta from France. Thank you so much for the very beautiful comments and guidance for us. Really, it's a wonderful session. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi Garu, for arranging such wonderful sessions. And thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to ask one question. Actually, sometimes, my son is 6-year-old now. Sometimes whatever you are telling, the same tips I used, but no, without knowingly, I'll say yes immediately, and then I'll change when he's calm. Then that time I'll change his mood. But I didn't say the positive, negative like that. I'll ask him. He'll change his mood. You are saying it's true.
Yeah, it definitely you can make the difference in the children by using the love words, affectionate words, and not saying no. Always say yes to them. They have more open mind to listen to you. And don't worry about, I already said yes, I need to buy that. No, you can always change that by with their own words. So it always works, Amma. Definitely it works. There's no question, because kids are like gods. They are, a lot of people say they're too, of course they're too smart. They get what they want, but at the same time you can convince them what is right. Once they realize what is right, they are more honest than us.
Yes, Geeta Garu.
Now we need to convince them, and the food, everything is really great ideas, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. For adamant kids, how we can change, ma'am? The same way we can, sometimes, my son, he'll accept it. Sometimes he'll force me. No, I want.
Give me one example. Give me one example.
For example,
You got muted.
To buy some toys. He saw he's using. He want the same thing immediately. I want that. I want that. I want that. He'll ask me. Then I'll tell him, okay, I'll buy. Give me some time. Like that, I'll convince him that time.
Yeah,
I'll
that's not a convincing, because you are promising him that you are going to buy, and you're giving a pause after that. No, you promise him. You say that, okay, I'll buy, but second minute, after 5 minutes, you ask him, what do you want to do with that toy? How much time you're going to use, and what is the price on that? You explain the value of the for the toy. So once you explain the value, then he says, you know what, I might not use that much. That money might not be worth it. So you create that value of the toy.
Yes,
So that is what I did with my kids. Now even now I beg them to buy stuff. They say this is too expensive for our age. No, we don't want to buy. That's what they say now.
Yes.
Because I created that in their mind, the value of the money.
Yes, ma'am. Really.
What you do is, what I did, I'll give you one example. What I did of myself. I used to give $1 to 3 boys.
Okay.
And I used to tell them, enjoy in the Walmart, buy whatever you want. Pandaga cheskone danni. Then they used to go into the Walmart. And then my younger one, twins are too young. They can't read. My older one can read. So they used to bring one toy and show it to him. This is fun. Like it takes 3 to 4 hours, like a babysitting for me in the Walmart, because at home they fight. So that's why I used to always do some creativity with them. So they in the Walmart, because it has AC, nicely they can do there. So they used to bring one toy and show it to my older one, because older one can read. So that will improve his reading skills too. He used to read and say, this is 5 plus, you can't play this. And then they used to put it back and then bring another toy. Oh, this is a 6-year-old, you can't play. Then another toy, this is $3, you have only $1, you can buy. Then they put it. Finally, they even $2, $3 one, they can buy $2 one, they can $1.99 also they can buy. My older one used to say 6 cents is the tax. You can't even buy this. So then they realized nothing they can buy individually. Then they all the 3 spoke with each other and they decided to buy one toy, 3 of them together. So for $3, $2.60 toy they used to buy, or 50 cents toy, because they know 6% is the taxes.
Oh,
So
really great.
yeah,
Really
so
great.
they used
Really
to, and
great.
they used to talk with the 3 together, saying that we are not going to fight when we play with this toy. We are going to play one by one or together. So that's how they used to decide themselves and buy the toy and come home. That is a 4 hours of my time pass. And they are learning education at the same time. Even when I do the swing also, I used to say 2 plus 2. By the time the swing comes back, they have to say 4. Everything was educational for me. Even when I'm driving, I used to ask this questions on the math, questions on the English, questions on the vitamins in the vegetables. They used to tell me answers. So that's how every single minute was an educational for me. That is how I played with them. There was a never a regular play, but that was a play. They are spending time with the mom and playing at the same time they're learning.
Wow, it's really great. I think you are well organized mom, I think. I can see that, ma'am, because it's really, really great ideas you given how to handle the kids with effective way. Really,
yeah, they need to know the value of money. If they don't know the value of money, tomorrow they'll come up with, say, we wanted this Jordan shoes, they're $250. I see so many people who comes to visit my home, they go to this malls and they buy $250, $280, $300 shoes. My kids, their heart breaks when they see that 15-year-old, 14-year-old buying those shoes. They say, Mummy, how rich they are, it does not matter. They're wasting the money, because they know that their food also grows every 6 months. With my kids, even if I beg them to buy a brand name shoe, they don't. They say, the same comfort I can get without brand. I don't need to show to anybody that I'm rich or not rich, or, they're not going to give me value with the brand. They have to give me value the way who I am. This is what they say. I ask them, it's okay, we can afford buy. They don't buy it. That's what you need to teach. That's a good way of, for the mom, you asking them to buy is a better problem than you telling them not to buy when they are teenagers. Trust me. Even some moms says don't eat because they're already, too much weight, but they fed too much when they're too young. So what happens when you feed too much when you're young, later you have to say as a mom, don't eat. Which problem is better? They eat, please Nana, eat, it's okay, you can eat. That problem is better than don't eat. So we have to be very careful when we are raising. Each word is so important, what we say to them, because that goes into deeper subconscious level, and that's what they're going to use rest of their life.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the beautiful ideas and sharing, ma'am. Thank you so much. Really, it's a very nice session, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Geeta Garu. Thank you, Anirudha Garu, for beautifully explaining. So friends, anyone, if you have questions? Yes. Bhavani.
Ma'am.
Yeah, Chapana.
Ma'am, very wonderful wisdom, ma'am. You shared very wonderful wisdom today. I'm very happy with your wisdom. And my doubt is like how to overcome this shyness and fear in children, ma'am. Like in the house.
Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, in the house, actually, they will be very active and they will be very close to me. But when they go outside, when they join other people, they'll be very like, especially my daughter, she's very sensitive. Like she's very creative, but she'll not open up when she'll go to outside, like meet other people, strangers and all. She'll be very afraid. Like how to overcome this problem, ma'am?
Yeah. So actually what happened when did you ever told her you're very shy and my daughter is shy to everybody? Tell that in front of her?
No, ma'am, I will not tell. But even
in front
then,
of her, you never
observe.
said that she's shy.
No, I will not tell, but I'll observe like how she is
How old is
behaving
she?
outside. She is just 9 years old, ma'am. Not 9, 8 years only. 8 years.
Okay. If you know or not, actually listening is a higher master's capacity. Not everybody can just listen to other person. We don't allow them to talk. We want to talk. We want to be, show our wisdom to other people. That is a normal people thing. But the higher conscious souls, they always observe other people. They always learn from other people. Calmly, quietly, happily, they listen. And they respect other people instead of show off. Maybe I want to, show what I know, everything, I want to show. But the higher masters, they're always calm and listen. You see the Patriji, he always allows other people to talk. He always observes. Unless even when I went to him, when I asked him a question, actually, I didn't ask a question. I was calmly sitting. He asked me, what do you want? I couldn't say a word. Nothing came out of me. Do you think that is wrong? I'm shy or I'm not able to talk there? That is not true. Yeah. See, what she is, you respect to that and you allow her to listen to other. Let her gain the knowledge. Let her be what she is. She will. Unfortunately, in our social thing, people who talk, people who are social or more smarter or whatever it is, and then people who are calm, they have a problem. They don't have any problem. That is a wrong way of seeing. All the great masters, they always observe other people. They always listen to other people. They always see where they are, who they are. And unless they ask them, they don't open their mouth. That's what they teach us, right? Right now, I'm teaching everybody and I'm learning by myself. Do not teach unless, show them the way, unless they're ready, unless they come and ask you.
Yeah, ma'am.
Right?
Yeah, ma'am. And we go to schools and all also, they will be telling that your child is very quiet. She will do all the things very correctly. But
perfect,
she is very quiet.
A perfect soul. She's a very higher soul. That's why you came into meditation. That's why you're learning all this, because of her soul plan. So you are gaining more.
I'm very happy
with
my children.
Sri Lakshmi madam. Yeah, because of that.
Yeah.
So You see all those in the meditation. You ask that question in the meditation. Who is she? What is she? Why she came? You will get the answer.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Just to respect and enjoy her. That's it. Do not put a label that she is SHY. Don't even use that word from next time. Just enjoy her.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. And Sabita, I show them also message. I clarified my doubt. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, friends. I hope you all had received a wonderful wisdom and answer to all your questions. Really, spiritual parenting is very, very important. See, they are our foundation. So their foundation should be so strong, my dear friends. So yes, Anirudha Garu, wonderful. You had shared your practical experiences. That's why people are easily getting connected to you. It's not about a theory. It's all about the practicals that you have experimented in your life. And thank you so much once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, next time we can talk about like more how to teach educational in the play that I did practically, and it works wonderful. Even the reading, I mean, I used to when these videos comes, they used to ask me, I want to buy this toy, then I used to pause it. I used to tell them to write everything about that, because it says you can't order, you have to be more than above 18 years. All those I used to make them write the whole page of whatever that fine print also. Then 81800 number, everything they used to write and give me to buy that toy. I used to say yes. And then at that time I used to say, right now I'm in the kitchen, let me order. And then after 2 days they forget. Again they ask me, Mummy, that advertisement is coming. Oh, I don't know where that paper is. Okay, write it again. They used to write it again. So, so that will improve their handwriting. Yeah. And reading skill and handwriting, when they're very young, 3-year-old. So I used to do all those tricks. Now they say, Mummy, you cheated us. Once in a while to say. It's not the cheating, that's the teaching, mother teaching.
Yes, wonderful. So definitely, yes, we can have all this educational purpose, wisdom sharing. We'll plan one session soon, maybe next week, next Sunday. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, friends. Thank you once again for all your participation. And I hope you all had a wonderful wisdom sharing. So thank you, Anirudha Garu, once again. Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. So friends, then let's all connect next weekend. So until then, signing off. Have a great day, my dear friends. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye. I'm closing today's call. Yes.
Yes.